I think they're going to crown the king and make BlackRock the official first Bitcoin ETF. There's all this stuff about they're going to do them all at once. Maybe they're going to do them sequentially. We'll see. But BlackRock's definitely going to be one of them. If they're not the only one, they'll definitely be one of them. And the amount of money that's going to shift from these proxies into the Bitcoin ETF, just kind of like, people bought GBTC and they're like, why am I paying 2% for holding Bitcoin? Like, why? Well, because it's the only way, if you wanted it in your brokerage account or your IRA, that was the only, I guess there were some IRA services, but if you wanted a brokerage account, the only way was to own this trust.
Investment management firms, stock exchanges, and the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission on Friday discussed final wording changes on filings for spot Bitcoin ETFs, a step that could lead to U.S. approval of the funds for the first time next week, sources familiar with the matter said. Issuers held discussions with SEC officials about the S-1 prospectus documents that every exchange-traded fund, ETF, must submit for approval, according to executives and representatives of 5 firms who declined to be identified due to the confidentiality of the ongoing talks. Mark Yusko discusses the potential impact of Bitcoin exchange-traded funds, ETFs, on companies like MicroStrategy. He speculates on how the introduction of Bitcoin ETFs might shift capital from existing investment vehicles like the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC, to these new ETFs. This shift, according to Yusko, could have significant implications for companies that have heavily invested in Bitcoin, like MicroStrategy. He suggests that while MicroStrategy might benefit from the rising price of Bitcoin, the premium that the company currently enjoys might diminish as capital moves toward these ETFs. Let us now get into the video as Mark Yusko discusses in length about his speculations about the ETF and how it affects big companies like MicroStrategy. As you watch, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your comments below.
And if you wanted to own direct ownership, even like BITO and the others were futures. They weren't direct spot ownership. And MicroStrategy is, a Bitcoin bank bolted onto a kind of money-losing software company. So it really is a Bitcoin bank at this point. And the reason it outperformed not only from this proxy phenomenon, but also they have a little bit of leverage. Not a huge amount of leverage, but Michael can go borrow money back when he borrowed the first tranche at 0 interest rates. It's a pretty good deal. And buy Bitcoin. Now, he looked really stupid for a long time. People are like, oh, he's going to get margin call. He's going to go to 0 because if you borrow money and buy an asset that goes down, that's a bad outcome. Now, it's only a bad outcome if the loan can get called. And everybody says, oh, well, his loan's going to get called. Nope, never got called. Came really close. Came really close, but loan never got called. Never got the margin call. And now he's looking really smart, and I guess he's buying more. So I do think some of those things are absolutely going to see less. Now, you take something like Coinbase, that's a toss-up, because while people will certainly move from Coinbase into the ETFs, many of them are going to settle in custody inside Coinbase, and so they're going to make some additional profits. Now, there's one guy last night who issued some reports saying, oh, but you're overstating how much that's going to be. And this stock's going down by 67%. I'm like, dude, really? Come on, do some math with me. Because while that's happening, you're not going to make as much as some people think, fine. But what's going to happen to the price when we have both a supply shock, which is coming the end of April, and a demand shock, which is coming on Monday? Price is going up, and price is probably going to go up a lot. And so that's going to be very profitable. If you go back and look at Coinbase profits from trading in the last bull cycle, it's a good thing.
Mark Yusko shifts the conversation to a more focused analysis of MicroStrategy under the leadership of Michael Saylor. Yusko draws an intriguing parallel between Saylor's strategy with MicroStrategy and the legendary investment approach of Warren Buffett with Berkshire Hathaway. He admires Saylor's ability to leverage the company's balance sheet to make significant investments in Bitcoin, akin to Buffett's strategy of using stable cash flows for long-term investments. This comparison is particularly interesting as it places Saylor's aggressive Bitcoin investment strategy in the context of traditional, time-tested investment philosophies. Let us now get back to the video as Mark Yusko reviews the full effect of the ETF on MicroStrategy, although pointing out that Michael Saylor can always go from 0 to 100 at any time because he has done it before and can do it again.
I think it does okay because it'll be a huge beneficiary of the rising price. But that premium will get sucked out. And so it's kind of how I feel about the first days of the ETF approval. If, capital I, capital F, if GBTC is not approved, right? If they stick it to Barry and Michael and don't give them the approval to convert to an ETF, all 90%, some huge amount of the money of that $25 billion in GBTC is leaving. It's going to move, and it's going to be instantaneous. So that would be that would be very disappointing to the market, because the market would be like, well, why isn't the price going to the moon? Wait, why aren't your stocks right? Well, because look, I think a couple billion, maybe as much as 3 billion comes in on Monday. Big number. If all that is converting out of GBTC into these, IBTC or whatever gets approved, then net, you're not going to have a bunch of upward pressure. That would be a big difference. Now, long term, I don't think it matters. I think long term, there's 300 billion that's coming into this market. And that's a 1% allocation. That's not even a 2 or 3 or 4%. That's just 1. So I think it's a monster demand shock. But I think MicroStrategy will be good, but not parabolic. Like, people it's amazing, right? When things are going down, they extrapolate that it's going down forever. It's going to zero. Probably getting to a point where you should be a buyer, not a seller, right? And we've talked about this when things go on sale in markets, people run out of the store. Like, just stay in the store and buy the stuff that goes on sale. So when it was going down and the discount, it was already trading at a discount to the assets on its balance sheet, then you probably should have been a buyer. Now, when it's trading at a significant premium, because there's a hashtag I have, insiders don't sell at bottoms. If an insider of a company is selling their stock, they know more than you. They don't sell when it's undervalued, right? We had this thing when I worked at the university. When people would give a gift to the university, we'd sell it immediately. And I always said we should run a hedge fund that just shorted all those stocks. Because if you're giving a gift of an appreciated asset, you're not giving the one that you think is going up more. You're giving the one that you think is topped out and you can't unload it fast enough. If Michael's selling shares to buy more Bitcoin, personally, it's because he sees the writing on the wall that the valuation of that business is extreme. It's like all the cloud companies, all the software companies, they're wildly overvalued on a price to earnings ratio. So, but he's a great arbitrageur. He really is. Now, you could argue that, well, maybe he gets on the wrong side of the arbitrage or whatever. But he is a great arbitrageur, and he's done this multiple times. People forget this is not the first time Michael Saylor has reinvented MicroStrategy and pumped the stock to the moon.
Multiple issuers said Friday they expect to receive final approval of S1 filings by late Tuesday or Wednesday. The SEC sought what 3 issuers described as minor changes. Some asset managers are expected to amend their filings to disclose fees or identities of the market makers for their ETFs. Those updates are due by 8 a.m. ET on Monday and could become public that day, sources familiar with the process said. An SEC spokesperson said the agency did not comment on individual filings. Separately, regulators have been working with exchanges to finalize 19B4 filings, which spell out the rule changes the SEC must approve for spot Bitcoin ETFs to launch. Late Friday, exchanges submitted revisions to 11 of those filings. People familiar with the filing process have said issuers that met end-of-year filing revision deadlines may be approved to launch by January 10th, the date when the SEC must either approve or reject the ARK/21 shares ETF, the fund that is first in line. Multiple asset managers have applied for permission to launch spot Bitcoin ETFs since 2013, but the SEC rejected them, arguing the products would be vulnerable to market manipulation. 14 firms including BlackRock, BLKN, Fidelity and WisdomTree, WTN, submitted applications for spot Bitcoin ETFs last year and await a decision from the SEC. In a move that 3 issuers described as unusual, the SEC has asked issuers that hope to launch next week to also prepare written requests for the regulator to accelerate the effective date for those ETFs. The normal process is for regulators to discuss the timing more informally with issuers. Bloomberg previously reported that SEC commissioners are expected to vote on the 19b4 rule changes next week. A source at one of those issuers told Reuters that the vote is likely to take place on Wednesday. Speculation on spot Bitcoin ETFs has reached great heights over the past 24 hours in anticipation of January 10th. That is the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission's deadline to approve or reject ARK Invest's application to launch a fund. If it's greenlit, the regulator is also expected to approve a slew of the other applications waiting in the wings to avoid being seen as a kingmaker, according to Bloomberg intelligence analysts. So, Bitwise, BlackRock, and a host of others are expected to be approved in short order. Anthony Scaramucci, the one-time Trump White House Director of Communications and now CEO of alternative investment firm Skybridge Capital, has come out as one of the most bullish voices. "It's done," tweeted Scaramucci, sparking more speculation that a regulatory nod is close. "It took over 10 years," said crypto legal expert Jake Chervinsky. "But we're finally on the verge of having spot Bitcoin ETFs approved in the USA." "Just filling out some forms," wrote Craig Somm, Grayscale's chief legal officer, shortly after the investment fund updated its ETF filing. Online punters are equally bullish. Data pulled from a $1.5 million stake on Polymarket, the blockchain-based betting platform, on whether approval will arrive by January 15th, have the bets at 85 cents for yes and 20 cents for no. A few bearish takes have entered the fray, with a recent Bitwise survey indicating that less than half of all advisors expect a spot Bitcoin ETF in 2024. The survey polled more than 400 U.S. financial advisors, pointing to just 39% of those surveyed who are optimistic about an approval this year. What do you think it is going to be in 2 days? An approval or a denial? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to give us a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications.
Hey Savvy Finance enthusiasts, massive shout out for being the heartbeat of Savvy Finance. Your support has been the wind beneath our wings, and we can't express our gratitude enough. Now buckle up because we've got an exclusive deal just for you. Ever wanted a slice of the action? We're offering a golden opportunity to own part of our YouTube channel's potential future revenue. This isn't just an investment, it's an invitation to be a part of our story. Investing means you're not just an investor, you will be a participant in the future of Savvy Finance. No cheesy lines, just a genuine call to embark on this journey together. But wait, there's more. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, become a Savvy ambassador. Share our videos on every platform. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Your shares amplify our visibility, potentially translating to more views and more YouTube revenue. Here's the kicker. If our viewership increases, we would not be just growing financially. We would be making a tangible impact by spreading valuable financial education. Now the icing on the cake. Invest and you'll score exclusive access to our private Savvy Finance Discord. Here you can chat with Savvy Finance, swap ideas with fellow investors, and be at the forefront of exciting developments. Click on the link below to register your Gigastar account. You can also find the link to my offering page in the description below. Get your Gigastar account ready, review the offering details, and let's embark on this thrilling venture together. To the incredible Savvy community, thank you for being the backbone of our success. Your journey is my journey, and together, we're creating waves. Cheers.